teams sharing a blue-collar persona, a quality depicted in their no-nonsense coaches. Worn with pride by 5 future Hall of Famers, and reflected in the character of the places they represent. Houston, Utah, an NBA clash of the Titans. No quarter asked and none given. Yet after 2 games, one team's blue-collar image gave way to a case of the blues. The Rockets limped home, down 0-2, flirting with elimination.
And this is vintage Utah Jazz basketball right now.
But in Game 3, the emotional pendulum swung on the shoulders of a 38-year-old journeyman.
Here he is again.
Now, Utah's lead is just 1. And though inspired by their win, the pressure today is again on the Houston Rockets.
This is the NBA on NBC. The 1997 NBA playoffs.
The battlefield for this afternoon's Game 4 is the Summit in Houston, Texas. The Utah Jazz looking to put a stranglehold on the series. The Houston Rockets trying to get ready.
Let's start from the beginning, man. 48, man. From the beginning. 2, 3, 1.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Summit. Greg Gumbel, along with Steve Jones and Bill Walton. As the Rockets try to pull even at 2-2 in this best-of-7 series, they try to do so against a team which has simply been the best in basketball over the last 3 months. Take a look at the numbers. Utah has lost twice to the Lakers, once to Atlanta, and once to Houston on Friday night. Their only losses since the 1st of March. They have been the best around, and they are driven by an MVP.
Yeah, and it's an MVP who loves big games, Greg. You know, whenever you think of Karl Malone, you think of a guy that relishes the moment and knows how to play in the opposition's camp. He is building toward a huge performance this afternoon. After a great shooting game in Game 3, he's looking for something that he laid down on the Los Angeles Lakers in L.A. in Game 4.
Well, from day one, we have said that the Houston Rockets rise and fall with their big 3. No different here this afternoon, Bill.
Greg, when you have 3 of the greatest players in the history of the NBA, special things happen on the court, and it all came together Friday night. Now, during the regular season, all their numbers were a little bit down, but they've been sharing the wealth. In the playoffs, they've been solid and very consistent. Friday night, it all came together here in Game 3. They punished him in the paint. The bench came through. Eddie Johnson's 31 points. They shot the lights out. Now in Houston, it all starts with the big man, Hakeem, down low. He draws the defense, and the three-point bombs go down. Look for the Houston Rockets to come up with one more special performance tonight, Greg.
All right, Bill, there's been some talk about Charles Barkley and some comments he made yesterday. With more on that, here's Jim Gray. Jim.
All right, thank you very much, Greg. Well, yesterday, Charles Barkley said that he felt his team lacked a sense of urgency, that they weren't playing with desperation. Well, today, Charles came in the locker room and he spoke to Hakeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler directly. He said, guys, my comments were not directed to you as individuals. They were directed to the entire team, that I, too, must work harder, that it's not just you guys, and it wasn't meant for you guys to take personally. It was meant for all of us. He went on to say that we must win this game today. It is our season. If we go down 1-3, that'll just be too deep of a hole. Greg?
All right, Jim, the 105th consecutive sellout at the Summit is ready for action. Game 4, starting lineups coming up right after this. Utah Jazz do not have a record of success in the Western Conference Finals, just 1 of 11 victories on the road. But to a man, they will say this is a different team this season. Greg Ostertag will jump at center against Hakeem Olajuwon. take charge. John Stockton all alone.
That has been the case, Greg, the start of every single game in this series. Stockton rubbing off a high screen and getting a layup.
Olajuwon spins away from the double team, and Ostertag has the rebound. Gave it up and got it right back from Stockton. Turnaround. 4-0 Utah.
The Utah Jazz got off to a great start Friday night. 31-18. Blew the Rockets out early. The bench got it back in for Houston.
Line drive off the backboard. And Clyde Drexler gets Houston on the board.
Now, the real interesting thing is what the Houston Rockets are going to do at the defensive end. If John Stockton's able to come down and set their offense like they have in the first two possessions, too many high percentage shots, the Rockets defense is going to suffer.
11 on the shot clock. Six on the clock. Malone going to look for a shot over Barkley. Drexler pulls it back to Maloney. And now Barkley. Lob to Olajuwon and fouled by Ostertag.
Talking to Jerry Sloan prior to the game, he was very disappointed in the Jazz effort in denying Olajuwon reception of the ball too close to the basket. Hakeem slices down that lane, and you see both feet are dead in the paint. Ostertag has got to do a better job before Hakeem ever receives that ball.
How about Karl Malone putting some pressure on Charles Barkley so that Ostertag has a chance to ride him out? If a passer has a lot of time to spot the receiver, he's going to get the high percentage position.
Stockton throwing picks in the lane. And a whistle blows. And
you say throwing pick. He's the littlest guy in the game out there.
Hey, he's throwing picks.
He may be the toughest guy in the game, too.
Foul is on Clyde Drexler.
Well, they're both going to get their share of arms out and throwing elbows. Drexler just guided Hornacek with a forearm right around the forehead.
Malone. Talking to Charles Barkley yesterday, Charles told us if he wants to give Karl Malone any shot, it'll be that fadeaway.
That's also the fadeaway that made him the MVP this year, though. Hakeem raked across the arm with no call.
Jazz with the ball in a 2-point lead. Batted away from Ostertag and picked off by Olajuwon. Whistle blows and an offensive foul on Olajuwon. John Stockton stood his ground at center court and drew the charge.
We talked about the toughness of Stockton. He will hang in there. Hakeem a little out of control, but you almost have to give a man room to come down. Stockton, I thought, stepped in underneath. Good place for a non-call.
A center would think that.
Hornacek. And that'll be number 2 on Olajuwon. And immediately off the bench.
And
Kevin Willis and a technical on Hakeem.
Well, that tells you that Olajuwon wanted to be in this ball game, and he has had great success in knowing that he has to sit down. That really hurts him. You go back and you look, and he's telling the official, hey, how about using that noggin? But this game is all about mental toughness. You can't let the small things distract you. If you're the Houston Rockets and if you're the Utah Jazz, knowing that if you can win this game, you have control of the series, you've got to play through all the distractions, every single one.
Well, sitting on the bench now is 29 points a game in this series against Utah for the Houston Rockets.
And the man that carried them in the first half, Friday night game 3, when Utah was playing perfect and the Rockets were struggling for offense. You can get away with a lot more verbally than you can with a physical exhibition and demonstration of protest against the referees.
So Hornacek cleans up at the free throw line with the technical and the 2 foul shots, and the Jazz with a 5-point lead.
Now they'll just swing Barkley into the low post and run basically the same offense.
Yeah, but it's not nearly as effective because Charles Barkley has a tough time scoring against Karl Malone. Malone is big as strong, can hold him out. Barkley with a miss.
Malone. And good defense by Barkley. Back come. Oh, what a pass to Ellie.
That is going to be the difference in this series. Which team gets the cheap bucket?
Malone just too deep there.
Missed the layup. That's out of bounds from Hьюstон.
Two
Back to the
consecutive.
rookie Matt Maloney.
Matt Maloney on the break. The wing guys get wide, and that spreads the defense, opening it up for Mario Elie. Nice quick zip pass, a la John Stockton from Maloney.
Barkley to Maloney. Utah. Inside, battle for the ball, whistle blows, and a foul. No, it's not out of bounds. Out of bounds to Utah.
We'll just let it go. The Rockets defense vastly improved from the first 2 games up in Salt Lake City.
But that's about energy, and they know they have to have the energy because this is a team that attacks the basket. They live for the 2-point hoop. Stockton with another 2.
And a 3-point lead for the Jazz. Just under 8 minutes to play, first quarter. Barkley clears out for Drexler now, who is one-on-one with Brian Russell. Into the lane, kicks it outside.
You can't get it and stop. It breaks everything down.
Willis. Ellie with the rebound, and Barkley lost the handle. Hornacek recovers. Stockton to Malone on the run. 13-8 Utah. 6 of those points belong to Karl Malone.
No big man runs the floor better than Karl Malone in the history of the game, delivering that time. Once again, wonderful extension.
You see Barkley trying to back in. He never gets his beat.
Maloney. Batted outside, and Barkley recovers in a new 24 for the Rockets.
The finisher thought he never gets as deep against Karl Malone as he does against other players. Nice cut by Drexler. Knocked away.
Nice block by Brian Russell. Back comes Stockton. Cross court. And the Jazz will slow it down. And go inside to Malone. Batted out of bounds by Drexler. And we'll take time with 6:44 remaining in the first quarter. Fast-paced game, and the Jazz own it by 5 so far.
Karl Malone has already taken 6 shots. He took a total of 14 on Friday night in Game 3.
Ostertag kick is no good, and Ellie is there for the rebound.
You know, it's not only about taking shots, but it's about making them, and this guy makes them. Drexler
lost his footing. Kevin Willis has it and backs his way into the shot clock at 7 to the baseline, and he was pushed.
I think this is something that the Rockets need to do more of. Is with Akeem on the bench with foul trouble, dump it in low to Kevin Willis. He had a nice jump hook rhythm going Friday night. Take advantage down low. He's a very difficult man to guard in deep.
Greg Ostertag goes to the bench with his second personal, and Greg Foster comes off of the bench. Greg's all over the place.
The way you like it.
That kind of game. Drexler, turnaround, fall away, rebound to Stockton.
Terrific box out, Greg Foster.
Down low, Malone. Oh.
Charles Barkley is trying to take away the right side, but he's allowing him to get too deep. If Malone is going to live down there in the paint, it's going to be a huge afternoon for the mailman.
Drexler in the lane.
Everything one-on-one off the dribble. Very difficult for the Rockets. The Jazz, better ball movement.
Hornacek open. and hits. Jeff Hornacek gives the Jazz a 7-point lead, 17-10. Hornacek has 5.
The Rockets have been playing on their heels in the first quarter in every one of the ball games, and they've got to get into this one because Utah is hot shooting early in the ball game.
Barkley, and an illegal defense call against Utah. That's the first of the game. That results in a warning. The next will be a technical foul.
It wasn't that long ago when Charles Barkley would dominate Karl Malone day in and day out when Charles was playing for the Phoenix Suns. Karl Malone has improved his game immeasurably.
Barkley came up short and got fouled on the arm. This promises to be a battle royal on the blocks all day long.
Well, you take a look at two powerful men and one just a little bit bigger and stronger. They make it exchange right there, but Karl Malone knows that he can keep Charles Barkley from making his favorite move of bodying in, getting a pump fake and going up and under because he can just brace and hold him in that spot.
Karl Malone is still talking to Charles. And Barkley, whose free throw ability at the line has come and gone in this series, misses the first.
Malone and Barkley are best of friends off the court, bitter rivals on. Barkley does not have the jumping ability off his offensive low post game anymore to deliver in Karl Malone's face.
Barkley's first point of the day, 17-11 Utah, coming up on 4:50 to play in the first quarter.
They changed the matchup. Kevin Willis now guarding Karl Malone.
That's a lot better for Barkley, who's a better team defender than individual.
Foster open, top of the key, hit it.
Now Foster's been killing him the entire series. His confidence is up, and once a guy grows hair like that, he becomes a monster, and he's been a problem for the Rockets.
Barkley goes right back at Malone. Fakes once, puts it up, got the foul in the basket. That's number 2 on Karl Malone.
Barkley pounding his way inside. He has to go to the fadeaway. Karl, no foul there whatsoever. Bailout call by the officials. And now Malone has to sit down. The fans want a technical to match Akeem's.
There was a foul. It just wasn't Karl Malone. It was Greg Foster, the guy that was over the top that hit Charles Barkley, but the Jazz and Malone pay a heavy price. They'd love to see Foster pick up the foul.
3-point play makes it a 14-19 disadvantage. 5-point lead for the Jazz, 4:20 to play in the first.
Must be all that hair that Foster's growing, turning into a monster.
In the lane, Hornacek misses. Willis with the rebound. Foster and Willis exchange blows. No call was made.
And Charles Barkley facing the basket and wants to go one-on-one against Greg Foster.
Barkley to the baseline. Rebounded. Barkley drew another foul.
This is what is killing Jerry Sloan. His team is being outworked as Akeem trying to get back into this game, but Barkley has taken over the offensive paint, offensive rebounds, posts up, and working his way to the free throw line.
They're not being outworked. The great players sitting down. And if they don't have Karl Malone in there, it's a different kind of a matchup. Greg Foster can't deal with Charles Barkley.
Barkley makes the first of 2. Let's talk about this matchup.
You know, in the head-to-head, Charles Barkley has been losing, and it's simply because, one, Karl Malone is bigger and stronger, and Charles Barkley doesn't have to score points in order for his team to win in the same way that Karl Malone does.
If Barkley gets both free throws, it's now a 19-16 Jazz lead. Isley got caught in the air. Willis made the steal. Maloney stops from 3 short.
Terrible shot. You got big guys running the floor ahead of you, and you pull up and shoot a 3. You better make that, or that's a hook one. Get them to the bench.
Carr fadeaway to the baseline. Antoine Carr. 21-16, Jazz, 3:10 to play, first quarter.
They leave Barkley in an isolation, and this is tough for Foster. Too deep.
Inside, goes to the left hand. That'll be number 2 on Foster. Charles Barkley is a personal wrecking crew.
He's just determined to get to that foul line each and every time. Foster in foul trouble. Utah, as deep a team as there is in the NBA, and that includes the Chicago Bulls. 1 through 12 for Utah can play, but Barkley, this has become a parade for him.
Barkley is 4 out of 5 from the line this afternoon.
And this is where Charles Barkley has games that produce big numbers. If he can get to the free throw line at least 10 to 12 times, he's going to be 30 plus on the afternoon. And as long as Karl Malone is down, there's nobody in a Jazz uniform that's going to be able to deal with it.
Charles Barkley has scored the last 8 Houston points. And again, it's down to a 3-point lead for the Jazz, and we're under 3 minutes to play in the first.
But if you're a great team like Utah, and even without Karl Malone for a temporary period,
Isley in the lane.
if you cannot control your defensive backboard, you have no reason thinking you're going to win not only this series, but the championship.
Drexler kicks it out. Ellie fakes the 3, goes down the lane, off the glass. No, tapped by Barkley. No, it's a loose ball foul. And that'll be on Barkley.
Barkley said, no, I didn't ride the shoulder of the Utah Jazz player to get that tip, but it's a great drive that really broke it down. Ellie gets to the rim, and watch Charles Barkley go up.
2:31 to play in the first. Ryan Russell loses the handle in the lane. Kevin Willis gives it up. Here's Barkley to Drexler. Scoop. No. Tap. Drexler again, and the whistle blows. This will be another foul going against Utah. Antoine Carr.
Houston is pushing the Jazz underneath the basket. They are controlling their own offensive glass. This game has eerie similarities to Game 3, where Utah gets out quick early. Hakeem goes to the bench. The subs come in, and then the push, the relentless push by the role players just takes over for the Houston Rockets as they battle their way back in.
Now, rebounding is what won the game for the Utah Jazz in a 4-shooting game in Game 2. They got second opportunities. Rockets getting second opportunities here early.
23-19 as we approach 2 minutes to play in the first quarter. Utah shooting 67% to Houston's 31.
2 minutes remaining in the period.
Carr. Back outside, tapped out of bounds, belongs to Houston.
With Stockton and Malone both on the bench, Utah struggling to find offense. Antoine Carr, Ryan Russell, they've got to be the creators out there.
Willis lost the ball coming across the lane to Brian Russell. Isley can't find a way in. Carr, top of the key, got it. Antoine Carr.
Now, Carr may do his impersonation of Eddie Johnson. When he gets his little jumper going, it's a huge lift for the Utah Jazz, and that one is a little bit deeper than you'd like, but it's right on the money.
25-19. Drexler open for 3.
This is a deep Houston team. You can't really leave anybody. They chose Drexler that time. Don't let him find the rhythm.
50 seconds to play in the first. Isley throws it up. Rebound, Barkley. Eddie Johnson. Back to Drexler. Another three. Willis with the rebound. Short pop is good. Shot clock is at 2. Hornacek fadeaway drops.
That is Jeff Hornacek at his best. Off-balance, typical shot that somehow finds a way to go in. 7 in the first quarter for him. They keep the Jazz on top, and they get the ball back on a turnover off Eddie Johnson.
6 seconds with which to work. Hornacek on the run. Barkley has it. Length of the court. No. Whistle blows first.
Bernie Fryer's got a call over here.
That's a double dribble on Barkley, and they're going to put...
No, I believe it's a double dribble call on Barkley.
Yeah, it is, and they're going to put 1.4 seconds on the clock.
3 opportunities that the Rockets have just given up carelessly. Utah unable to convert so far.
Foster wide open and missed it. Karl Malone played just 8 minutes in that quarter and scored 8 points. Charles Barkley has 8 points, 6 of them from the free throw line. The Houston Rockets need a win to go back to Salt Lake City, tied at 2 games apiece. They can ill afford a Utah victory here today. Coming back to the Summit for the second quarter, right after this.
Shot chalk for Charles Barkley. He only took 3 shots, 7 trips to the foul line. Though, when you're the shortest guy out there in the front court of all the big guys, and you're backing them down and getting to the line, you're doing your job. Barkley, the king today.
A little bit more of that. He could be sore Charles by the end of the day. Eddie Johnson off the bench and 3, picking up right where he left off Friday night.
But late in the first quarter, Eddie Johnson passed up some forced opportunities, waiting for the game to come to him.
We're tied at 27, and Shandon Anderson, the rookie out of Georgia, breaks free to put Utah back on top, and a whistle blows.
T on Rudy Tomjanovich, probably complaining about the push-off on Shandon Anderson, but the Utah Jazz are the epitome of a team that plays for the high percentage shot, and every time they get a chance, they're going to try to get inside. Shandon Anderson got a nice lob over the top from Stockton.
Why would you ever front Shandon Anderson in the low post? I mean, play behind the guy. Make him make a turnaround fadeaway jumper.
I love when you get into your pleading voice.
Olajuwon's back in the game. Let's see if they get him started and established here in the second quarter. Antoine Carr.
Hakeem, he got hit in the head, in the face at that point, and drew the foul from Antoine Carr. That's number 2 on Carr.
Well, Antoine Carr is going to try to play Hakeem with quickness. See how he gets right up there close with the footwork. Antoine Carr, an outstanding defender. The reach and poke in the face, always a foul. Malone has 2. Ostertag has 2. Foster has 2. And now Carr with 2 personals. Drexler lost it on his way to the basket. Here comes Anderson. 2-on-1. Anderson right at the basket and came up short. Batted away and then fouled. Foul is on Anderson. Clyde is passing up jumpers. He's trying to get to the hoop. He hasn't taken very many free throws in this series, just 2 at the very end of game 3. He's making a concerted effort to try to get to the line, but if you open it up, that'll create the space for Hakeem inside. That foul was on Brian Russell, his first. Olajuwon, fall away, doesn't get the bounce. Sedale threes. 3, Eddie Johnson, Olajuwon, Clyde Drexler, and Kevin Willis on the floor for the Rockets.
Now this is the side of the floor that Olajuwon doesn't like to work from the most, so he usually ends up giving it up. 8 on the shot clock.
Terrible pass.
Russell. Oh! Brian Russell with his first basket of the day. 32-27 Utah.
Utah has done something that has got to please Sloan. They've been able to hang on to the lead with Malone on the bench. Jump hook.
That's what was punishing Utah in Game 3. Kevin Willis, time and time again, just took the shorter, weaker players for Utah down low and delivered.
Jazz lead by 3. Carr, open jumper, hits again. Antoine Carr has 6.
Big men that can shoot the ball, like Foster, like Antoine Carr, opening up the middle for others. So valuable.
Olajuwon spins to the baseline and swoops home.
Hakeem is making the most out of some very soft and weak post-entry passes.
And Eddie Johnson comes. The runaway train best describes that move by Eddie Johnson. Timeout on the floor. 8:59 to play in the first half. You're watching the NBA on NBC. Bench play has been a big topic of discussion so far in this series. The Utah bench dominated games 1 and 2, and the Rockets bench only came to life in Game 3, and 31 of those 47 were attributed to Eddie Johnson. As far as today goes, well, Utah 12-2-7, and of those 12 points, Antoine Carr has come up with 6.
Greg, so many of your guys who are 4, 5, 6, 7 position on your team, they play great at home, but when they get out on the road, just cannot deal with the pressure and the intensity of that crowd. It just takes you out of it.
Karl Malone back onto the floor for Utah. Into the lane, Anderson fouled, and he'll go to the line.
Mario Elie, they had the play where they made Karl Malone make a tough cross-court pass. Elie couldn't hang on to it, and the young guys, Shandon Anderson, Russell, they are giving the kind of energy that Utah hasn't had. They come up with that extra play. First trip to the line this afternoon for Shandon Anderson.
In Game 3 in the second quarter, Karl Malone sat out just over 6.5 minutes and saw the Utah lead go from 13 down to 6. He sat out over 7 minutes here this afternoon before he just came in moments ago. The lead was 6 when he went out. It was down to 3, and now it's back to 5.
But when he came back in Friday night, he never got control of the game. The game was all his. He had a magnificent start. We'll have to see how he responds today.
Now, this is Olajuwon time, and they've got to establish him inside and in a post to break to set up the rest of the game.
Sedale 3. His first basket of the day, 36-33.
It can always be said about the Houston Rockets that if their jumpers are going down, they're going to win. Today, those jumpers seem like they're falling with regularity for Houston as Hakeem finds Sedale 3, a terrific midseason pickup, steps in and just nails the jumper.
Jazz by 3 coming up on 8 to play.
The play that's given the Rockets the most trouble has been the pick and roll. We'll watch to see how they defended. Stockton killed them on Game 3 Friday night.
Antoine Carr's fall away. Doesn't fall. Willis with the rebound. Here comes Houston. Johnson's play doesn't fall. Here comes Stockton. He's fouled at center court by 3.
Good way to break up a fast break. They had numbers, and 3 looked up, knew that they had nobody back. Just grabbed Stockton, new 24, and they'll set up.
It's not the kind of shot you really want Eddie Johnson to take. That runner across the lane after he's put it on the floor a few times.
I cannot believe you of the heat check are going to deny Eddie Johnson that shot. He was just finding out how hot he was.
I would get Eddie Johnson 20 shots minimum every game. That guy's got the sweetest stroke going.
Malone lost the handle, chased it out beyond the three-point line, and will take the jumper.
Find a guard, please, Charles.
Barkley going to put it up. And almost missed everything. Rebound, Johnson, no. Now Carr wide open. Good rebound by the rookie Anderson, and Olajuwon has the ball.
Shandon Anderson has missed 4 layups today. This could be a big lead for Utah.
Olajuwon changes direction in the lane. Whistle blows before he got the shot off, and it's on Stockton. That's number 1 on Stockton, and timeout on the court with 6:52 to play in the first half. It's the Jazz 36 and the Rockets 33.
I'm now joined by the assistant coach of the Chicago Bulls, Bill Cartwright. Bulls and Heat play again tomorrow, 3 o'clock. Showtime starts it off. You're here scouting the finals. Which team do you feel as though the Bulls would match up better against?
Well, first things first, let's take care of Miami. I think we still should address that problem. Both these teams are formidable out here. They have obvious weapons, so we want to take care of business first, and then we'll worry about these 2 guys.
Karl Malone and, of course, the Utah Jazz, a team that hasn't been to the finals. What particular problems would Malone and Stockton give you guys?
Well, obviously, they have a lot of experience. They play well together. They're just a very formidable team, not only Stockton and Malone. So we just want to be prepared for both teams.
Bill, it sounds as though you've been screaming too much as an assistant coach. We'll let you get back to scouting this game. All right, Greg.
All right, Jim. Good to see Bill Cartwright around.
The center, Bill Cartwright, for 3 championship teams with the Chicago Bulls, a terrific competitor.
Talk about a tough shot to block.
Impossible. You didn't want to get anywhere near those elbows. Those elbows were lethal weapons.
Funny, he said the same thing about you.
Make a layup, please.
Now that's the kind of play that they've got to have, and that's something that the Utah Jazz do extremely well. And if Matt Maloney can make that shot, he can get into this series against John Stockton. Malone has not looked to really be active here since he's come back in the game.
Stockton. 38-33, Utah.
I have never seen John Stockton play as well as he's playing in this series.
Olajuwon spins on Ostertag and scores. Hakeem has 6. Stockton comes around, kicks off the pass. Can't hit, gets his own rebound and gives it to Anderson. And the whistle blows on the baseline. Foul is on Mario Elie.
In the low post at the other end, Hakeem Olajuwon one-on-one against Ostertag, feels him, rolls off, and then just delivers in your face. Ostertag, you can't allow Hakeem to get that deep.
I thought a facial was when the guy was actually facing you. That guy had his back turned.
He had everything that time. He had the back, he had the front, the side. That's called the torture chamber down there.
Shandon Anderson hits them both. It's a 5-point lead for Utah. The rookie has 6.
The rookie has been big so far here in the first half. Real good energy for Jerry Sloan.
Ostertag busted up that pass inside. Stockton to Anderson. Anderson scoops it home. Anderson has 8, and Utah leads at 42-35. 5 minutes to play first half.
Utah just outrunning Houston. The Rockets getting no easy baskets themselves.
Barkley back outside. Eddie Johnson's 3. No. Rebound Anderson. Down low. Malone batted away. Malone wants the goaltend. He won't get it.
Jerry Sloan's yelling, get back, get back.
Elie to the basket.
That was an incredible block shot by Hakeem Olajuwon.
All that's going to do is wake Karl Malone up. He's been asleep, but now he's going to work.
Goes to the left hand and score.
Should have never blocked that shot.
Malone has 10.
Hakeem should guard Karl Malone when he gets angry like that. Because for Charles Barkley, Malone is the worst type of opponent to guard one-on-one.
Olajuwon scoops inside.
I want to see you guard either one of those guys, Steve.
You know, I believe in even. You score, I score. And that's what Olajuwon just did. But they still got to get control of the first half, and they have it.
Stockton gets the bucket, and a foul is called up top. The foul is on Matt Maloney.
The screens have bothered the Rockets. Matt Maloney, all of the Rockets have had problems with the screen. Stockton gives the ball up, a quick exchange, tried to duck around, and got caught on Chris Morris.
First miss from the free throw line this afternoon by the Jazz. They are 8 of 9. Coming up on 3.5 to play, the Jazz lead at 46-39.
Karl Malone, Barkley just told Maloney to shut up and play ball.
Hakeem across the lane. He has 10.
Now, see, that's the way you get even. You start wearing somebody out, and then they'll start making adjustments, and that's what the Rockets have to have in order to get everybody in the game.
This one looks like it'll go against Drexler, and it does, as Chris Morris came across the lane.
What a great lift, though, for Jerry Sloan and the Utah Jazz. I mean, Shandon Anderson comes in, and he's playing electric ball. Sloan pulling all the right numbers. Chris Morris, who's been a lost soul up there in Salt Lake, he's even active today.
Morris hits the first one. Barkley continuing to yell at Matt Maloney to shut up and play ball.
I think it was a little embarrassing for the Houston Rockets, all the whining and complaining they did about the style of play for the Utah Jazz. That's not what champions do. They come back and bust you.
Olajuwon outside. Maloney three-pointer on the way. No, rebounded by Morris.
Matt Maloney is one of those players that, you know, feeds off of his confidence, and it's down right now. Illegal defense.
And Malone calling that one out.
The best thing that can be said for the Rockets is that even though they're playing terrible, they're just down 6.
6-point difference it is. 2:55 to play in the first half. The Jazz lead at 47-41. This is the NBA on NBC. The rookie out of Penn, Matt Maloney, who has been averaging 41% from behind the three-point line, but he is 0 for 3 today. And the Houston Rockets as a team, well, you can tell when their shots fall from long range, they win. And when they don't, they lose. As far as this afternoon is concerned, Houston is just 2 for 8. Utah averages 13 attempts a game from behind the line. They haven't even tried one so far today.
Houston is not getting good looks behind the line because Hakeem has not been the punishing player as he was in Game 3 when he had to have 3 guys from Utah try to slow him down.
Drexler went for the steal. Hornacek open and missed it.
Drexler out in front, missed it.
Drexler off the baseline, fade away, no good. Rebounded. Barkley will go to the line again. Foul is on Hornacek, and that is his first.
Great reach side battle for the boards. Barkley and Karl Malone. Karl went to the floor that time. Charles gets a trip to the line.
7 rebounds, but he made a living at the line in that first quarter with Karl Malone on the bench, and we'll see if he can get the touch that he has going. Only missed 1 free throw early.
Jim Gray reported from the last huddle over at the Houston side that they were all talking about moving the ball more. Mario Elie saying, look, if we just pass that ball to the second and third option, we'll find guys who are wide open. Rudy Tomjanovich looked up and said, I agree. How about some good passing?
10 points for Charles Barkley. 47-43, 2.5 to play.
Now that's a great screen by Stockton.
Malone couldn't convert the short hook. Back from the Rockets. Olajuwon, fade away. Got it. 12 for Hakeem. Shot clock at 3, Malone. Karl Malone has 12.
Just too much for Charles Barkley in that low post. Giving up 6 or 7 inches, 20 pounds.
Drexler for 3. And Hornacek has the loose ball. Back comes Stockton in a hurry. Down low, Malone had it blocked. rebound. Tapped up. No. Here come the Rockets.
Now Charles Barkley's trying to calm everybody down, but the Rockets are trying to tie the ball game up as they did in Game 3 before the intermission. Game 3 it was tied at 51. We're pretty close now.
Maloney can't find the range. He's 0 for 4 from behind the line.
The Rockets don't move as quickly, as sharply, and cut as hard without the ball as the Utah Jazz do in their respective set offense.
40 seconds to play now in the first half. Stockton finds himself all by himself.
He looked for all 4 guys to pass to, and then nobody was open. They were standing there, so he just took it himself.
But this is the play that really hurt them on Friday night in Game 3. Pick and roll, and nobody steps up. Stockton has plenty of time to measure the shot, takes it off the glass, and they build on their lead.
Well, you're right, Bill. Stockton looked right, and then he looked left before he said, might as well shoot the basketball.
But this is a different John Stockton than it was a year ago. I mean, John Stockton struggled in the conference final this year. He has amped it up. It's like he's found the fountain of youth. There are no injury problems to be hidden about John Stockton this year.
Last year he was playing against Gary Payton. This year he's playing against Matt Maloney. And I will say that there is a distance of ability between those 2 players.
We have 36.2 to play here in the first half. The Jazz with the ball and a 6-point lead.
But what does that have to do with the injury?
If you're playing against Gary Payton or Matt Maloney, you'd rather go against Matt Maloney.
Fortunately, we have the entire halftime to figure out what that means. Here's Mario Elie, top of the key for 3. Barkley gets called for the foul.
How can he argue that call?
That's number 2 on Barkley.
He took Stockton's head off.
But it was the right play to attack the pick and roll, and they forced John Stockton backwards. And if Barkley had not reached in, they had him under control. Right there, he just reaches over the top of their head.
That's what you love about guys like Barkley, though. They play it so hard with so much passion. Then you look up, and late in the game, they got 1 foul.
Now they're going to get Karl Malone out so he doesn't pick up anything cheap in the final 3-2 left here in the half. Stockton with 8 points trying to get to 9 in the quarter.
Got the second one to fall. 53-48, just a shade over 3 seconds to play. Elie at the buzzer. Just a little long. Top of the board. That'll do it for the first half. Hakeem Olajuwon with 12 points on 5 of 8 from the floor. Karl Malone with 12, 6 of 15, 53-48 Utah.
Welcome back to Houston. I'm Jim Gray. I'm joined by the coach of the Rockets, Rudy Tomjanovich. A lot of turnovers. 9 turnovers led to 10 Jazz points. How can you get your guys to play with the same emotion but a little more discipline?
Yeah, well, that's the key right there. Some of the turnovers came on our routine plays, throwing it out of double teams and all that. We just got to be sharper. I was pleased with our effort. I think we're doing a real good job on the boards, and we're not.
How about the threes? You're 3 for 12. You going to keep shooting them?
Yeah, well, you know, if a guy doesn't feel it on that day, it's up to him. But I want our guys shooting with confidence. If they don't have it, maybe drive the seam and create for somebody else.
Thanks, Rudy. Good luck in the fight.
Thank you.
All right, let's send it back out now to Greg Gumbel.
Jim Gray talking with Rudy Tomjanovich a few moments ago. The Utah Jazz have yet to take a 3-point shot in this game. Houston 3 of 12 from behind the line as we get started here in the third quarter. Charles Barkley tried just 1 shot from the floor in that second quarter. Olajuwon starts things off with a miss. Ostertag rebound.
But he has got to keep taking that shot, because if they're going to get their 3-point shooters in it, it's because he's torn things up inside for the Houston Rockets.
Hornacek.
2 areas that Karl Malone, this year's MVP, has has developed the most in his outside shooting, then fadeaway turnaround, and then the interior passing out of the low post. That time finding Hornacek for a layup.
55-48 Utah.
Rockets look disorganized.
Ellie on the move. Got it. Mario Ellie with 9 today. 1 minute gone in the third quarter. Stockton back outside. Brian Russell, first three-pointer of the day taken by the Jazz, and Barkley has the rebound.
It's been a very quiet day for Brian Russell. That's just his second shot attempt. He didn't feel comfortable.
Drexler can't get it to fall, and Stockton is back in a hurry. Hornacek going to stop and pop and miss. And Ellie with a rebound. He was fouled from behind. Looks like that'll be on Russell.
Russell is struggling, but his replacement has been every bit as energetic in Shandon Anderson, so I'm sure Jerry Sloan is going to say if Russell can't deliver, go to Anderson. And for the Rockets, they've got to be able to establish some movement and get Olajuwon going down low.
And somebody's got to stay in the backcourt and help Matt Maloney inbound the ball. All these big scorers are just running up court and waiting for it.
Barkley being held off by Malone. Fall away. 12 for Barkley.
Notice, Greg, how Utah is not double teaming automatically right now. Hakeem and Barkley forced to go one-on-one. Sloan doesn't want the other guys to get off.
Malone in the lane. Rebounded by Olajuwon. Here comes Huston.
That was a rebound by Hakeem. When you snatch it like that.
Drexler wide open. And a good look down low by Barkley. Stockton. John Stockton to the hoop and to the floor. Olajuwon trying to get around Ostertag, and it's a foul on Ostertag. That's number 3.
When you get the man isolated like that, and Ostertag cut Hakeem off fine initially, but then Hakeem just kept going. He stayed with his move. The referee forced to call that foul there. If Hakeem would start up the lane a little higher on his catch, he'd have more room to get baseline.
This is the scoring side. Forget that other side of the floor.
Olajuwon across the lane.
Steve, I defy you to stop him from either side. I defy you to stop him from any part of the court.
The bodies are flying all over the place. Maloney goes down, Barkley goes down, and the mailman delivers his first 2 of the second half.
Maloney limping as he's coming up the court.
To the baseline, Olajuwon back outside. Ellie open for a 3, and that's off the mark.
John Stockton is so tough, so smart, incredibly quick.
Karl Malone gets his own rebound and lost it, and a loose ball foul will be called on Barkley.
Greg, this is what makes it so hard for Barkley to guard Karl Malone, because Charles is one of those defenders who doesn't like to play defense before his man gets the ball. But with Malone, who fights so hard for position.
Hornacek chases him down. Ostertag, and fouled by Mario Ellie.
And that's a gamble they didn't have to take that time. Olajuwon stepped out on a controlled defensive effort by Drexler against Hornacek. That let Ostertag go to the basket. That hurt them in game 3. Watch Hakeem step out right there. Doesn't have to do it. That gets Ostertag a free pass. Ellie picks up the person.
Ostertag 14 of 15 from the free throw line in the postseason. And he continues to click from there.
Ostertag really stepping it up, even though he now has to play against Hakeem after playing against Shaq in the second round. Has played relatively good basketball.
And Ostertag now 16 for 17 in the postseason. Those are his first 2 points this afternoon. 61-56 Utah, and 8 minutes to play here in the third quarter. That's kicked out of bounds, and it'll belong to the Rockets. Actually bounced off of a Utah Jazz player, so no new shot clock. 17 on the current shot clock.
All of the Jazz are looking at Barkley, looking to decide when to come. 8 on the shot clock.
Ellie, three-pointer. Got the front rim. Long outlet for Hornacek. What a pass from Brian Russell.
That is the same play that hurt them in Utah. They shoot deep. That's the first pass to a fast break. And you saw Russell gobble it up, and Hornacek just lay it in.
The Utah Jazz have scored 6 straight points, in position to win here today and grab a 3-1 lead to go back home Tuesday night to Salt Lake City. Stockton on the Utah bench doing his usual damage. 15.6 assists, 6 of 7 from the field.
Yesterday, Charles Barkley told us that John Stockton was the best point guard in the history of the NBA. John Stockton standing in there, the shortest guy, taking all the punishment needed, doing whatever it takes to win. John Stockton has been the best backcourt performer today. He is killing Matt Maloney. Maloney with just 2 points today. Stockton with a field day.
7:30 to play here in the third. Olajuwon back to work across the lane, back outside. Maloney. And Maloney cans a three. Finally, his first of the day.
You know you blew a great chance, Bill, to tell us that men were made in the paint, and John Stockton's a man that's playing in the paint.
He is a man. A man's man, John Stockton.
Illegal defense call against the Rockets. Let's go back to Matt Maloney, who finally found the range from behind the arc.
Hakeem works so hard to get to the hoop. Ostertag just huge up over the top of him. The double team leaves Maloney wide open. And finally, a jumper does go down for the Rockets.
I'm tired of you yelling at him. 64-59 Utah. 7 minutes to play. Third quarter. Shot clock down to 6. Stockton dishes it off to Ostertag. Ostertag has to throw it up, and it just gets the bottom of the rim. And the foul looks like it'll be on Ostertag, and it is. That's number 4 on Greg Ostertag.
Olajuwon starting to wear down and outwork Ostertag. Got lower, got a better position, a quick entry pass. He's on his way to the hoop. Ostertag on his way to the bench. Foster will come in.
Signs of life, though, really, by the Rockets, who seem deflated, flat, out of that last timeout. But with Hakeem battling for position, Rudy Tomjanovich calling his number time and time again. Playing.
Greg Foster onto the floor for Ostertag. And Hakeem 3 out of 4 from the line this afternoon cuts the Utah lead to 4. Olajuwon has 15.
Right there is the key. Getting up on John Stockton. A rare fumble by Karl Malone right at point-blank range.
But, Steve, the pressure on Stockton, it doesn't bother him the same way it never bothered Magic or Bird. They love that guy in their favor. It's easier to pass.
Olajuwon with the jumper. Hakeem dips into the arsenal, comes up with the jumper, and cuts the Utah lead to 2. Barkley fall away. We're tied at 64.
He didn't bank that, did he?
Utah calls time.
Charles Barkley in the low post against Karl Malone, giving up size. Malone denying everything. The fadeaway. Glass. Oh, my goodness.
The Houston fans have been on their feet the entire time out. The Rockets pulling into a 64-64 tie as they look to even this series at 2 games apiece. John Stockton leading the way for Utah. Hakeem Olajuwon for Houston.
Now the guy that's going to quiet the crowd for the Jazz is going to be Karl Malone. He's got to get started. Big rebound, Olajuwon.
The Rockets have never led in this game. That's out of bounds off of Isley, and it'll belong to Houston with 11 on the shot clock.
And Charles wants a complete reset of that shot clock. He says possession to Utah.
Well,
referees are having no part of that.
They thought Isley had control of the ball. He didn't. But that tells you how much Barkley is in this game.
Terrible post-entry pass.
5 on the shot clock. Barkley rebounded to Shandon Anderson. No, to Isley. And the foul is called on Mario Elie. And that's 4 on Elie.
The collapsing defense around Hakeem is so stifling right now. Somebody's going to have the confidence for Houston to take over offensively.
Well, the shouts for Eddie go up as Eddie Johnson comes off the bench. In 15 minutes of play Friday night in the second half, 17 points on 7 of 8 from the floor.
Great pass. Isley cannot finish.
Once again, Houston looks for its first lead of the day.
Karl Malone on Hakeem. And that just lets Barkley go wild on the weak side.
16 for Barkley.
What they're doing is disrupting all of the screens right now. They knocked off the timing of the Utah Jazz. 7 on the shot clock for Karl Malone.
Lost the handle.
Nobody running for Houston. It's all set offense.
Drexler. Russell looked at the three.
What's happened is the Jazz have become reluctant at the offensive end. Turnover.
Drexler. Second timeout.
With Karl Malone matched up with Hakeem, that leaves Barkley unguarded on the weak side. Foster can't compete physically there. And then the poke away by Hakeem, and when Clyde Drexler puts his head down, there is nobody going to stop him from converting.
Let's check in with Jim Gray. Jim.
All right, Greg, Jerry Sloan is telling his team right now, don't get your heads down. We knew they were going to make a run at us. You got to keep your heads in the game. Don't start looking down to the ground like this thing's over. Withstand the run. He also said, I can tolerate the missed shots, but I can't tolerate you not running the floor. Get back on defense. Greg?
All right, Jim, the Houston Rockets are on a 12-1 run. Utah has gone more than 4 minutes without a field goal.
It is the crowd that has unnerved the Utah Jazz. I mean, their crowd works well for them, but this Rocket crowd who has been up since the ball game is tied has really gotten into it, and that's what you need to bring some sanity to your team. Forget all that if you're not making baskets.
I'm going to agree with you for the first time today, Steve. This is Karl Malone's time right now. That's what the MVP is all about.
Maloney out of the corner for three.
Is in a zone on the defensive backboard. He knows where every ball's going.
Drexler. And he'll go to the line. Matt Maloney missed his first 4 3-point attempts. He has now hit his last 2, including this big one out of the corner to give the Rockets the edge.
The third quarter is where the Rockets busted the game open Friday night. It was Eddie Johnson knocking him down from deep, but this is a guy that needs to see that ball go in. They've been encouraging him, yelling at him, trying to beat him to be the guy he was in Seattle. And if they can get Matt Maloney just to give them a couple of spurts, they feel, one, they will win here, and they have a chance to win in Salt Lake City.
Matt Maloney yesterday was the first Rocket into the practice facility yesterday and the last one to leave the floor.
He better be. He's a rookie. Utah's got to give the ball to Karl Malone every single time right now. Get down low and get to work. Forget these other guys.
.73-66 as we come up on 2 minutes to play in the third. Isley to the left hand. Nice move by Howard Isley.
It was. Our team thought he was going to deke him off of it, and the kid switched up. Nice move.
Terrible post-entry pass again.
And Olajuwon's out of gas. They got to get him out of the game. Last guy down.
Russell for 3. Brian Russell pulls the Jazz to within 2 at 73-71.
You see, it's been the guys that you don't expect to come through that have helped Utah. Drexler.
Clyde Drexler across the lane.
He is just determined to get to that hoop every single play, and no one is willing to stand in his way. He's right-handed, by the way, Greg.
What are you saying? He doesn't take left-handed shots?
Oh, Isley with a beautiful bounce pass to Jeff Hornacek.
Rockets settling down now, 7 1/4 for Hornacek.
Is there a player better in the league at catching that ball out of position and turning it quickly into the shot?
And Hornacek, probably not. He's one of those guys that is terrific at bad play and making great plays out of bad ones.
Shot clock is at 5. Barkley to the baseline, fade away.
24-second violation.
And shot clock violation will get the Jazz going the other way. Let's go back to that last play.
Isley, again, turning the corner on the pick and roll. Barkley doesn't step out, freezes Akeem there, and then Hornacek, the absolute best at turning that play. And the missed pass.
75-73. Aren't we in the general range of those other games where they were finishing up?
That was a double overtime in the Eastern Conference.
Half a minute to play, third quarter. Russell, three-pointer. Again!
They have played through that period where they started to get unnerved. The crowd got them nervous. Malone made a hoop. They begin to settle down. Russell with back-to-back threes. Jazz on top by 1.
Charles is taking this all by himself. Into the lane, had it slapped away, looked for the foul, couldn't get it. 2 seconds to play. Malone didn't fall. Barkley continues to argue the whistle that wasn't blown at the other end. We've played 3.
Third quarter has belonged to Charles Barkley. Karl Malone has been at point-blank range and hasn't been able to get the ball to go in. And Barkley has made some tough fadeaway shots. And the reason that Karl Malone has not had the big impact since the first quarter, lost a little bit of his confidence because the shots that are close at a point-blank range have not gone in, but expect a big finish here in the fourth.
How could the MVP lose his confidence?
Well, he's human. Jordan, he was 4 of 15. He's human. Now, if he's not getting any free throws, it's a tough afternoon.
Malone across the lane. He might have gotten a double block out of that. Willis and Olajuwon converging. And it's out of bounds to Utah with 4 on the shot clock.
This is Karch Karai and Randy Stoklos from beach volleyball sending that stuff.
Anderson rebounded by Foster. And a whistle blows and the foul is called.
Now, all of the Rockets senses a chance to explode on the Utah Jazz, get the crowd back in it, but the gambling cost them that miss on the rebound, and they pick up a foul. That one against Olajuwon, his third, first team.
They have now changed it to Kevin Willis. Malone inside, easy two.
And the return of John Stockton is going to help Karl Malone.
The lob to Olajuwon, foul from behind by Stockton.
Again, John Stockton is the very best at delivering the ball when you're ready to do something with it. They've had trouble with the pick and roll. Malone showing the great hands and the finish.
But it's not just the plays there, Steve. It's the decision-making abilities of John Stockton. He comes out and freezes the defense. The Houston Rockets had no clue what to do defensively.
You've got to step up, and you've got to make John Stockton back up. He's the best at passing the ball off the dribble. One hand, pops it right in there. So you've got to make him play going backwards and not standing static or going forward.
Hakeem has 19. It's a 1-point Jazz lead. And just to confirm, they've switched that foul back to Hakeem Olajuwon, and he has 3. Stockton with the loose ball.
Get a rebound, please, on the weak side.
Shannon Anderson kept that one alive.
And now Malone and Willis get tangled up.
Well, 2 of the league's strongest at their position, and they're passing more than a little bit of wood between each other trying to post up. You'll see them lock up.
Well, the initial grab was by Willis, and then just elbows and arms and shoulders, and both of those guys have ample supplies of all of those body parts.
First personal on Willis. Malone open for the jumper. And Anderson chases it down.
You might want to try a Hakeem on Karl Malone here.
And now Drexler is called. That's number 3 on Drexler.
Rockets now with 3 personal fouls. They don't want to put the Utah Jazz on the line too early. 10-14 to go in the game. A couple more and they're in the penalty.
Anderson had it rejected by Willis. Here's 3. 3 with a jumper. And Malone over the top for the rebound.
Terrible shot selection for Sadeo Freed, who hasn't had it going offensively today.
9:40 to play in regulation.
There is some anger and energy in Karl Malone. You see how it focuses here in the fourth. Stockton.
That's out of bounds, and it'll belong to the Houston Rockets when we come back. Timeout on the floor. 9.5 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. Utah 78 and Houston 77.
Miller Genuine Draft presents a classic moment of the NBA at 50.
And today we look back at Clutch City, the 1994 Houston Rockets, who defeated the Utah Jazz in Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals, winning the series 4-1. Robert Horry and Hakeem Olajuwon led Houston with 22 points each. The Rockets advanced to the finals to face and beat the New York Knicks. And in recognition of this classic moment, the Miller Brewing Company will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. That was once that these two teams met in the playoffs. They met 3 times all told. Utah in 1985 was victorious. Houston beating Utah both times in their championship runs in 94 and 95.
85 was Hakeem's rookie year. He got ejected from Game 5 here at Houston for taking a punch at Billy Paultz, who only played 20 minutes. Billy Paultz did his job that series, though.
Oh, Whopper. Olajuwon inside. 21 for Hakeem. Rockets regain the lead.
Time for the stars to shine here.
You know what time it is. It's Stockton and Malone time, and they are really trying to break things up on pick-and-roll situations. Kevin Willis picks up a foul here. That is a 4-team. Bad news for the Rockets, and that's what sent them into the penalty as Willis disagrees with the call.
Barkley about to come back in. Hakeem still arguing about a foul that he felt should have been called at the other end.
What he wants is the same kind of contact call. Willis goes out. Barkley barks out, but neither one of them can afford to get technical. The Jazz are right there at the door.
Hakeem's already got 1 technical. An ejection here would be disastrous.
Foster for 3. And Anderson chases it down.
The long rebounds, all for Utah. The anticipation, Brian Russell, Shandon Anderson, and always John Stockton.
Malone threw it up, whistle blows, and the foul is going to be on. Sedale 3. No, take that back. Mario Elliott.
The Rockets struggle, Greg. Rudy Tomjanovich always reverts to rebounding. Houston not getting anything on their defensive glass. A great strip by Barkley. Hakeem was there over the top. The left-handed bailout there, and Greg Foster, he just mistimed that jump. That's not a foul.
That's 5 on Mario Elliott.
With a hand in the back, it's easy to miss time. Foster gets the free throw to tie it up.
Foster 7 feet tall. Mario Elliott is 6'2".
You know, some days you let contact go that just belies all of us.
Foster gives the Jazz an 80-79 lead. Plenty of time remaining. 8:20 here in the 4th quarter. Hakeem into the lane. 23 for Olajuwon. 1-point lead for the Rockets.
It's no contest for Greg Foster, for Olajuwon. He's got to stay with it.
Stockton for 2.
Decision-making once again. Stopping that time. If there's a quicker decision-maker in basketball, I don't know who it is. Maybe Michael Jordan.
Olajuwon spins, goes to the baseline, and he'll go to the free throw line. That's Foster's foul. It's his 3rd.
Hakeem just going to work here. Everybody's standing around watching Hakeem playing by himself here. Utah, more guys involved. When you stand behind that screen, big Karl Malone, Stockton's going to get a perfect bead every time.
But you've got to take your chances. Stockton is capable of a couple of misses out there. You'd rather keep Stockton out on the perimeter, shooting the ball, rather than penetrating and feeding Karl Malone or anybody else coming from the weak side.
Hakeem Olajuwon's numbers have gone up with each postseason series. He scored 18 a game against Minnesota, 21.7 against Seattle, and he's averaging 29 a game against Utah. He's looking for point number 24 on the afternoon right here, and he's got it. And we are tied at 82.
Olajuwon has scored all 7 of the Rockets' points here in the 4th quarter. where you don't want Stockton.
And this foul is going to go against the Jazz.
But the defense of Hakeem Olajuwon.
Technical foul has been called on Jerry Sloan. And Eddie Johnson converts. The foul was on Karl Malone, his third, and the Rockets have called time with 7:26 to play in regulation. This is the play on which Malone was whistled for his third personal.
Off the pick and roll there, Stockton finds. That's what Jerry Sloan wants, is the foul right there. He doesn't care about this reach in by Karl Malone.
Don't know where the ball is going by now. You've forgotten what's happened here in the fourth. Olajuwon and Greg Foster, another foul.
And a terrific post-entry pass by Clyde Drexler that time. The ball swung from the strong side all the way around. Foster helpless inside. Where's Ostertag?
That's the fourth personal, fourth team, so the Rockets quickly can get into the penalty themselves with another foul. They're going to dump it inside to Olajuwon. Now you want cutters. You want a room for Olajuwon to work.
Plenty of time on the shot clock, but Olajuwon's going to take it and miss it.
You run into a problem here with Hьюston. Everybody standing there watching Hakeem play. You got to come with him. Good bump by Eddie Johnson.
Hornacek. Battle underneath, won by the Jazz, rebounded, however, by the Rockets. And Hornacek comes up limping.
Karl Malone slapped at the ball. Barkley told me, I'm going to...
And Malone just knocked Barkley over, who fell into Stockton.
But that was all set up by Charles Barkley telling him, I'm going to give you a little wood on the next one. And Karl Malone said, wood this.
Up the court, Charles is saying, hey, I'm coming at you with one on this rebound here, and Karl Malone, that's a nice flop by Charles Barkley, who gets up laughing.
Flop? I suckered you into giving me that shot. What do you mean flop? That's 4 personal fouls on Karl Malone.
Yep. Barkley gets the first one. Let's check with Jim Gray. Jim.
All right, Greg, Charles Barkley walked over here to get some rosin to dry off his hands. He winked at me. He says, I guess I have his attention now, finally. Greg?
Huge afternoon for Mr. B. 17 and 13. Hornacek going to the bench. They're going to check his knee, and Ryan Russell will come in the game.
This has been the healthiest Utah team in all of basketball. And with Mike Sheminsky trying to get Hornacek back in there, that could be a big, big loss for Utah.
3-point lead for the Rockets.
On the shot clock.
Stockton, Foster, and a foul just before. Oh. No!
Look at Jerry Sloan.
Look at Ben Barkley goes over and tries to incite more. He wants to see him toss.
I really thought the whistle came before the buzzer, which designated a shot clock violation.
From where I sit, it looked like the ref changed the call after the crowd started roaring.
Olajuwon inside, blocked. Malone. And Hakeem going to draw the foul on that one. That's number 4 on Olajuwon.
Olajuwon upset because he got ripped off the ball down at that end. He's got to be very careful about what he said, but that was an angry Karl Malone coming to the rim that last time.
Here is an unusual situation. This is Karl Malone's first trip to the free throw line this afternoon. This is a guy who makes his living at the free throw line, as well as on the low post.
You know that when Barkley is guarding Malone or Hakeem, they're not going to call cheap fouls on superstars like Barkley or Hakeem. So Malone hasn't had any easy trips.
85-84 Hьúston. Malone has 20.
Trying to dump it inside to Olajuwon.
The foul is on Utah. Let's go back to that play that just drove Jerry Sloan crazy.
The ball gets swung by Stockton, ends up in Foster's hands. The shot clock expiring as the ball is stripped.
Good call. 0 on the shot clock.
Meanwhile, Greg Foster has drawn his 5th personal, and Olajuwon is back at the free throw line.
That's a great call if you're sitting in Texas. If you're in Utah, that's the worst call of the season.
Olajuwon 6 out of 8 from the line so far today.
But it's the right call. Olajuwon has had trouble with the free throw line, and that's going to be critical for the Rockets and putting this game away. He acts like the basket's moving on him. He started swaying back and forth. See how he does on this one.
7 out of 10 from there this afternoon. 2-point lead for the Rockets and 5.5 to play.
The moving basket was Shaq's problem.
Hornacek back in the game. Illegal defense call against the Rockets, and that'll be a technical foul and a free throw to the Utah Jazz. This is a game that the Utah Jazz simply cannot afford, or that the Houston Rockets cannot afford to lose.
No question. If they give this up on Tuesday night, you think that the house here is mad. It will go absolutely out of the zone in Utah with a chance to win it in Utah and at home in front of their crowd.
But what are they doing calling illegal defense? The greatest players in the league playing for the title here in the West, and they're blowing on a technicality like an illegal defense.
Stockton breaks free and hits. 19 for John Stockton, and we're tied at 86.
The big guys for Houston not stepping out all series long, kills them time and time again.
Going to come back to Olajuwon. He's got to go quickly.
And he got fouled. That'll be Brian Russell. That's number 3.
You want to talk about money, it is a pick and roll. You see it up top high, and you'll see that Barkley's not going to step out because he doesn't want Malone going to the rim. So they are going to make John Stockton be the guy that beats him, and so far in the games down here, he's been up to making that shot.
Steve, you're right. Hakeem is just out of rhythm, out of sync at that free throw line. He's getting some good rolls, but it's not the normal Olajuwon stroke.
He's 9 for 12 from the line today.
This is the kind of game you got to go 13 for 12.
Stockton feeds Hornacek, batted away by Olajuwon. Ellie. Hakeem's 4th block of the day started it. And we get a whistle at the other end.
Now, this
fifth foul on Hakeem.
Yeah, but this is great work by John Stockton. We're going to get a look at the block at Olajuwon. Just gets it with the fingernails, sends it out. They get him on a fast break. Sloan saying, no, got to be a goaltend. And then Mario Ellie will be on the finishing end as Drexler takes everybody out of the way.
Olajuwon has drawn his 5th personal.
And the way they're flopping around on defense, as active as he is on the offensive end, John Stockton just the master of drawing what seems like an inconsequential foul.
Rockets with the ball and 3-point lead. We come up on 4 minutes to play. Hakeem into the lane. Rebounded by Malone.
He aimed that one. He wanted it so bad instead of just shooting it nice and easy, but he got the shot against Foster. Straight in for Karl Malone.
clock at 3. Stockton on the run. Oh, what a shot. John Stockton, 22 today, pulls the Jazz to within 1 and the Rockets call time. 3.5 minutes to play regulation. Olajuwon double team. Maloney. 5 on the shot clock. Ellie for 3. Way long.
Houston's not getting any offensive rebounds. Charles Barkley might want to anticipate a little bit more. He's not the offensive focus here.
Russell, top of the key.
Hakeem has been a giant on the defensive backboards today.
Well, Hakeem wanted it, but Barkley said, I got this one down low. Let's see if he can deliver the goods off of this.
Inside, doesn't fall. Malone with another rebound.
What they were trying to get was an opportunity for Barkley, and a possible foul on Karl Malone didn't happen. Pick and roll.
Stockton sets up Russell. Russell back outside to Stockton. 5 on the shot clock. Has to get rid of it in a hurry. Malone out of bounds to Hьústон.
Hesitation on the part of the Jazz. Who wants it? That's what the MVP is about. That's where you dump it in early in the shot clock to Malone and let him deliver.
2:05 to play. Olajuwon across the lane. In and out. Loose ball, Barkley.
He can still dunk.
That basket will not count, and that may be Mario Ellie's 6th.
Ellie is done for the afternoon, but Olajuwon coming across and really giving the effort. But again, this one spoons out. Malone there and knocks it away from himself. Barkley with the cap.
That's the kind of play, Steve, that you just see that ball for the rest of your life. Just bobbling out of your hands.
11-point effort for Mario Ellie today. This is Brian Russell's first trip to the free throw line. And he goes 1 for 2. 2-point Rockets lead and 1:40 to play.
Now they're going to come back to what has worked. Olajuwon against Foster. Middle is open.
They've stayed at home at Eddie Johnson all day.
Shot clock is at 4. Olajuwon outside. Drexler. And Malone hits the deck. Rebound to Hornacek. Malone, fall away. Got it. Malone pulls Utah into a tie at 92. What a game. Hьúston wants timeout. Eddie Johnson, Olajuwon, Matt Maloney, Barkley, and Drexler on the floor for the Rockets. Karl Malone, Foster, Hornacek, Stockton, and Brian Russell for Utah.
They're coming to Olajuwon, trying to get across the lane. He turned it over, just rolled it off his arm. Now this is Karl Malone all the way. They're going to come up, screen it, pick and roll.
Stockton breaks free. Jump shot is no good. Tapped up, no. Tapped again. Malone with a big rebound. And back up top. Almost turned it over.
Shot clock, and they're looking over to see what they'll do. There's about a 7-second difference. They don't call a timeout.
15 on the game clock. 7 on the shot clock. Stockton breaks free again. Hornacek to the side. Russell out of the corner. Missed it. Barkley rebounds. Timeout. Rockets fans smell victory. Rockets have the ball. with the game tied and 6.7 to play.
This is Akeem time. Jim Gray reports from the Houston Rocket huddle. Akeem early, Barkley and Eddie Johnson next, but whatever you do, don't shoot too quick. That'll give Utah a chance to get right back.
Well, it's win or tie. That's the philosophy that the Rockets are going to take. The first thing they've got to do is get the ball inbound.
Drexler outside, Maloney, Johnson at the buzzer. The hero of Game 3 with 31 points off the bench, hits at the buzzer to give the Rockets a 95-92 win over the Jazz, and the same cries that resounded through this building on Friday night are raking the rounds again. Eddie Johnson had missed 3 of 4 prior to this, with time winding down, and there was just nothing left. Utah, the best they could hope for is overtime. Instead, they go home now, tied at 2-2, while the Houston Rockets make it now a best of 3. And Rudy T left the court with his hand held